The season finale for Andor just dropped on Disney+, so let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Let me know, what did you think about the season finale of Andor, as well as the season as a whole? This is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, you have been warned. Go watch the episode, then come over here, check out the video. Two quick announcements before we get started. First one, I have a companion video to this over on my Patreon page with my, it's a 15-minute video with my thoughts and review of season 1 of Andor as a whole. So if you want more thoughts on Andor, in particular on the season as a whole, check that out over on Patreon. Links down below in the description. And over the next few days, I have my Black Friday sale going on in my merch store. That means 40% off everything. That means $13 t-shirts. Once again, the link is down below in the description. All of my I Talk Movies Too Much, Movie Talker, all that stuff, you can find it at the link down below in the description. Let's get started with the review. And if you've been tracking along with my previous Andor coverage, you know that I have been thoroughly enjoying this show, and the finale did not disappoint. This show knows how to crescendo its story arcs into these final episodes. And I understand when people say that there's too many setup episodes to get too slow. Fair enough. I understand where you're coming from. That's not my experience, but I totally get it. And then you have these crescendo episodes. Episode 3, Episode 6, Episode 10, and now Episode 12, where everything comes to a head. And in the case of this one, we go back to Andor's home planet, and almost all of our characters converge on this funeral for different reasons with different objectives. And you just feel the tension building. And we know what all of the main cast are planning for this funeral. We know what Andor wants to do and what his objectives are. We know what our Imperials want to do. We know what Luthien's trying to do. We don't know what the city's trying to do. But we know something's up. We can tell that something's up. And they keep teasing with little images where you see someone probably making a bomb. And they keep alluding to things that they're going to do. So when you get to the funeral sequence, you feel that tension building as you kind of go into it of what's going to happen. And then it goes back to those drums from Episode 3, where the show has taught us when they start beating the drums, it's about to go down. When they start playing music, it's about to go down. And for all the frustrations that maybe we have with, some of them have with Cassian, they do not like the Empire, and they've got big, gigantic plans. So you just feel the tension building as each time the drum is hit, each note that's played, and you see all of these characters kind of positioning themselves. And us as the audience are kind of in the same position as so many of the lead characters of not knowing what's about to happen. We can tell something's up, they can tell something's up, and we don't know exactly what it is. And I think that's what kind of makes so much of Andor stand out. We've had 45 years of a specific type of Star Wars action, where it's fast-paced, it's real direct, like those are the stormtroopers, let's run in, guns a-blazing, shooting them up. And, you know, stormtroopers always miss, our heroes always hit. We had the dog fights, Millennium Falcon. We've seen all of that a lot. And I think, like, for me, I started to get a little bit bored with it in Obi-Wan, where it's like, okay, once again, we're running through Imperial corridors to rescue someone while stormtroopers are missing and our heroes keep hitting everyone. I've seen this before. I've seen lightsaber battles. And what Andor does is that it makes it less about blasters. It's certainly not about lightsabers. And it's much more about just the ground level rebellion of the people on the street in their desperation, the people in a prison having to get out. A last minute desperate heist. That's what this show does so well when it does them. So they feel different. And they're not exciting in the same way that these fast-paced roller coaster ride, dogfights, saber battles, shootouts are, but they have a tension that we've never felt in Star Wars before. And that's what you get here. If you just feel the tension building, what's this going to build towards? And then a robot, the scaredy cat, depressed robot goes forward. And like, what is he going to do? Is that kid with the bomb going to throw the bomb? What's about to happen? And then we get a speech. The payoff initially of all that tension, all of that stuff we've been building towards, what is it released to? A speech in a context where they found a way where Luthien is now listening to Andor's mother. And Imperial spy lady, investigator lady, she's there too. Everyone's kind of right there able to hear Cassian's mother kind of give this speech articulating kind of what the whole season has been about, of how the rebellion is waking people up to the tyranny of the Empire. And you can hear, like, so much of it's like, we know where this is building towards. The Imperials are dumb enough that they don't seem to get where it's building towards. And you get into the final moments and they like get to the point where they're like desperate to like, wait, we better shut this thing down. They're telling us probably shouldn't let them give this speech about fighting the Empire. But by then it's too late. And it just erupts into just chaos in the streets. And it's not blaster fire from our heroes towards stormtroopers. The only people really with blasters are the stormtroopers and Cassian. And it's just people fighting back as desperately as they can. So it's exciting in a different way. It pays off in a very different way from what we've gotten previously in Star Wars. Cassian's role in it, he's there wanting to be there for the funeral, but more importantly, he's like, I need to save my friend. She's suffering because of things that I did. I'm going to get her out of there. And his motivation in so much of this isn't even as altruistic and noble as these other people around him. His is, I just need to help my friend. That's fascinating. And you also get to the finale, and still Luthien shows up with his rebel buddies to kill Cassian. That's still their plan. All the way up until kind of the very end of the episode. The people behind the rebellion want to kill the guy who's in so many ways ends up being responsible for getting the Death Star plans. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty, like, just showing the ambiguity of the rebellion, that they did bad stuff to be able to have the greater good and tear down the ultimate evil. Bad stuff in the process. And you have this, and you have a Luthien, and you can see him almost like rethinking it as he's hearing Cassian's mother's speech of like, this is what we've been working towards. Like, this is it. Like, they're turning against the Empire because we lit the spark, and it's the keg's starting to explode. Powder keg's starting to explode. And you feel that. I just love that. So, I mean, you have a big shootout. Cassian's able to save his friend. You get the little moment in there where creepy wannabe Imperial saves investigator lady that he creeps on. And yes, it's like almost this noble act on his part if you didn't know how creepy he was in the last half of this season, where he a very weird, awkward, uncomfortable, creepy guy. And he finds a way to save her, so now she's actually indebted to him. I don't know where that's going. And you have this scene where you're almost waiting for her to kiss him, and you're like, oh man, creepy guy gets the win. That's not good. That's not good. But like that, a moment where you're able to do something that, one of the things that shows so fascinating about the show is that they take these characters that are clearly the bad guys, working for the Empire, wanting totalitarian fascist rule, and they can make them underdogs. So you almost have this moment of victory of him saving her while you're also creeped out by him and you want her to die. She's a bad person doing very evil things. And so, in a sense, that's what you want, but you also in that moment don't want that to happen. And that tension that you feel of all these mixed emotions about the characters, that's so much of the brilliance of the show. Even the feelings you have towards her about she's getting talked down to by these other Imperial men over her. And so it creates like an underdog situation with her, all the while where you're like, wait a minute, I don't want her to succeed at all. Love that back and forth that the show has on that. And then you get moving to the final moments, and Cassian sends off his friends to escape from the area. And he doesn't go with them because he was able to spot Luthien in the crowd. He knows what's up. So you get this final scene of him confronting Luthien in his ship where he could have killed Luthien. You were here to kill me. All right, there's a gun. You can kill me now or sign me up. And you almost want, you want there to be a little bit more dialogue there, a little bit more of like what Luthien's thinking in all of this. And then he just smiles. And that's really all you need to know exactly. Like, we got him. This guy's not a threat. He's all in. He could have killed me right now. He offered to let me kill him. I want this guy, and he's here. We got him. So the final thing on there would be the post-credit scene. There is a post-credit scene on it, and not terribly surprising one. It's like in the world of Star Wars, you have a bunch of people in a prison building something, tech things, a lot of them, and they need a large workforce to continue working on it. A character whose ultimate destiny is tied to the Death Star. Where could this be going? So it's not like, wow, I didn't see that coming. It's not that sort of thing at all. But it is one of those moments where you, like, when you actually see it and it comes like that exact part and its context of how it fits into the weapon of the Death Star. And it does put a smile on your face, and without feeling unearned or being, just fan servicey or anything like that. It's a nice little tag at the end to like answer a question that we had. Okay. So anyway, those are the thoughts on the finale of the show. I loved the whole season. So well written. If you want my whole thoughts on it, got a link down below into Patreon. Join at any level and you can unlock my spoiler review of the whole first season. It's about 15-16 minutes long. Remember, there is a sale in my merch store. Everything is 40% off. That means $13 t-shirts. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.